A long time ago, my buddy Dan said, "You used to follow me and you used to follow Chris, but now, basically, you don't follow anybody and you've got something to say." And the research that I've done is really, for me and for everybody. I mean, I've been researching our personal afterlife and the aspects of the spirit realm. And I want to tell you about one guy, Michael Heiser. This guy has recently risen up. He has been studying the supernatural spirit realm and basically exposing how small-minded and empty the whole Christianity presentation of the operations in the spirit realm has been for a long time. And he's gone into the roots of Jewish mystical understanding, as well as that, the Mesopotamian, the Egyptian, and he's like a serious, fun, pleasant scholar who's like, look, everybody's not going to be a stuffy studier and scholar like me, and I'm trying to make what I've learned palatable to just ordinary people that are never going to study all this stuff. Because, the people that are in charge of communicating about afterlife and spirit realm basically are missing major fascinating elements. So I'm just saying, check out this Michael Heiser guy. There's a snowstorm of posts all over the place because he wants to be really accessible. He's kind of like a Mr. Rogers friendly kind of guy who's describing, look, spirit beings don't show up with wings on. They actually show up as imitations of human beings. Anyhow, this is for everybody. Find Michael Heiser. And now I address you, Michael Heiser. And it's frustrating because you're like, why hasn't anyone presented this simple, basic information? Why hasn't anybody given, a basic outline of this stuff rather than the standards chit chat that's come down through the generations? But the funny thing I've got to say to you, Michael Heiser, is I don't see you doing the practical application of how to interact with and personally be aware of the spirits and the spirit realm. You're presenting your discovery, but my work is like, okay, how are the spirit beings operating around pleasure and sexual desire and habits and hobbies and addictions? How are they operating? And what can we personally do as a group of friends to actually stay chill and not get caught in whatever, like self-exaltation and pride, or obsession with a favorite part of life, whether it's building beautiful cabinetry or music or what have you. How do we prevent ourselves from being caught up by spirits in our favorite pleasant pleasure things? And I want to let everybody know that the Barnesville Quaker meeting in Barnesville, Ohio, is possibly the most amazing and tender, sweet spiritual gathering that I've ever been to. And they have a rest home, they have a retirement home. And I saw this caliber of people coming to this rest home, and I literally want to go there. I want to take notes on the way that they handle the people and what they do. And since they're Quakers, they do, 1 hour times of silent worship, which is really good for the mind and the emotions, because you center yourself and you end up realizing things that you forgot or what have you. So I really have a desire, I have an idea to go to the Barnesville, old folks home, and take notes and literally duplicate that thing, starting in Maine by Deer Island, Blue Hill Bay, and then in other places in the country. Because when people are making their exit from life itself, it is actually a season when great things can happen. I mean, I'm on dialysis, and I tell the dialysis patients, you ain't dead yet. Bring your grandkids around and tell your stories. Tell your disaster stories. Tell them about how you got caught up with the wrong person, or you wish you had made a different type of decision. Record your stories. It's so easy to do that on video. And you may prevent your generations that are not even born from getting caught in your crap. I personally believe, from studying, basically, the scriptures are just a bunch of family storytelling. And people that got in trouble, and people who heard from God but didn't listen to God, heard truth and didn't uphold truth. And it's basically a big storytelling manual, and it's cool. And over all these years, I've realized that if my parents had told me about the mistakes of my mom and my birth father, and even the troubles that my own dad had, of his own father dying and being the middle kid that nobody paid attention to. If somebody had actually told the painful stories, well, I would have been an open-hearted communicator about the same areas in my life. And instead, I was stuck in what I'll call stupid, ordinary pleasures. I was stuck in pleasures. And I didn't have perspective on my behavior. I wasn't concerned about my behavior. And the fact that our habits actually are a signal to troubling spirits in the spirit realm, who can then begin to override logic and cause us to be a person who is speaking hurtful things towards others and towards ourselves, or using our time to focus on things that are lesser, while other serious things are going on that need attention. It's amazing. It's really amazing. So, Michael Heiser, meet Grandpa Honesty Guy, and settle into some of my addendums, which are basically a great expose on the fact that parents and elders did not chit-chat about human pleasures, all the possible types of human pleasures, and how those chasing after pleasures, including studying stuffy Bible literature, how chasing after what is pleasant by getting into habits and habitual behavior, you can actually ignore other things that are way more important and can be essential in your success and just like having a decent life and not having to watch your children wander off into some layers of insanity. So cheers to Michael Heiser. And before I get off, I'm going to say, if you've got any curiosity about Christianity, 5 atmospheres I want to introduce you to. Number 1, Curtis Sargent, zumeproject.com, ZUMEPROJECT.com. Download the handbook and take time to hear Curtis Sargent's story. That guy has affected thousands and thousands of people. It's amazing. Also, Lee Wood and Big Life are in that one service bundle. Curtis Sargent, Zume Project, Big Life, Lee Wood. Number 2, the Miracles on the Street Ministries of the Last Reformation, Torben Sondergaard. And Fielding Go Harvest. Fielding Go Harvest. And Tom Loud. And Casey Johnson. You can find all those things on YouTube. You get a snowstorm of stuff. These are all people who go out on the street with confidence that they can lay hands on somebody and watch them be supernaturally, instantly healed. Some wild shit. I mean, some amazing stuff that doesn't get in the news. I mean, I had no clue that this stuff is going on. Also, in that atmosphere, there's a film company, WP Films, Wanderlust Production Films, Darren Wilson. I'm telling you, you just grab one of his films and you are going to get a secret bird's eye tour of the mess of Christianity, only picking out people that had the wild stuff going on. I mean, flippin' wild. Curtis Sargent, Miracles on the Street Ministries, Early Christian Writings Ministries, scrollpublishing.com, Scroll Publishing YouTube, and a book, A Dictionary of Early Christian Beliefs. I'm telling you, order that book. I don't care who you are. It's fascinating. 700 topics. The topic of demons, the topic of the Sibylline prophecies. The Sibyls were ancient Greek prophetesses that have these writings before the Hebrew era that say there is one who will walk on the waves and from a single pouch will feed thousands. There's all these, it's just like the Native American true white brother stuff. Some wild stuff that is totally outside of the Judeo-Christian atmosphere, predicting what looks like Jesus of Nazareth. So early Christian writings, Scroll Publishing, and if you do early Christian writings on a YouTube search, you'll get a snowstorm of other companies that are actually teaching people about the first 300 years of Christianity, which was a completely different atmosphere of little groups of intimate friends watching out for one another. Literally, Jesus set up an amazing, really open-hearted group counseling atmosphere where people are actually discerning what spirits are troubling our nation, our town, our family. You know, because our family is engaged in blah, blah, blah kind of career, we have a tendency to have a problem in this area, and part of that problem is being driven by spirit beings. Early Christian Writings Ministries. Michael Heiser. Okay, so Michael Heiser. Michael Heiser, Miracles on the Street Ministries, Curtis Sargent, Early Christian Writings Ministries, and me, Grandpa Honesty Guy. Literally talking about all the stuff that gets avoided. Being honest about everything in human life and raising up friends and children that can comfortably chit-chat about all the standard human problems and afflictions. I mean, my life was a train wreck for 40 years. And I don't want you and your people to be in that kind of train wreck. And you don't have to join standard churchianity to get out of the train wreck. I mean, there's some cool stuff. And those 5 locations are really awesome. Peace be with you.